Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Egal Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today's video is a very interesting one. I got Curran in the building, and he said one of the hottest takes on social media yesterday from Arsenal Twitter. So we got to go straight into it. Curran said this season has been one of the worst seasons as an Arsenal fan since Arsène Wenger has left, and not because of the quality of football or we were awful, because it was a season where we decided to do two things. And tell the people what you mean, because I think you could explain it better than me, Curran. You really
Yeah, I
went.
mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I know people are going to get annoyed because of the mention of Wenger and disregarding Emery or whatever you want to say. Absolutely fine. For me, there was a relationship being built between, I think, since the All or Nothing year, between the fans and the board. There was more conversations after the whole 0 and in 3 games happened, and we had that international break, and after the whole Super League stuff, there was starting to be a bit of a relationship built over the last maybe 2 or 3 years. Maybe not as much in the last couple of years. Maybe not in this past season, which I mentioned in the tweet, and the season before was still a bit off. But definitely during up until that 22-23 season, there was definitely a bond being built. People were starting to understand each other a bit more. And this season, in specifically this season, and I mentioned it in the second tweet as well, there was a real tone-deaf attitude between Arsenal and the rest of the league, and Arsenal and the rest of the fan base of the Arsenal fans. My thing is I just think that if you are going to back all this chat, that's the main thing for me. You have to, if you're going to say you're going to brief, and I think for me this starts after Bayern Munich. After the Bayern Munich game, every report came out saying, look, we're going to go for X factor in the summer window. We need attackers. We saw what happened with Bayern Munich, and that's what happened. And we did nothing in the summer. Let's be real. We signed Sterling, and Marino is a good signing, but obviously he got injured in training. Calafiori's had an up and down season in terms of availability. He seems like he's definitely a piece that we can use going forward in the squad, but he's had a very up and down season in terms of how many minutes he can play. And these 3 guys, plus obviously Neto, who's really been a non-factor this year, if you're going to say that you're going to do all this stuff in the summer after a very humbling loss, I would say, to Bayern Munich, because honestly, we did nothing in that second leg. We got tactically outclassed by Tuchel. He decided to exploit our right-hand side. He played around and through us, and obviously the goal was slightly fortuitous because the cross and the header, of course, that's something that is a one-off opportunity. But the fact is you had the opportunity to close these margins and actually increase the.
Can I stop you for a second? The not investing in the team in the attack, I get that. Ripping up the relationship between the club and the fans.
Yep.
I need you to elaborate on that part.
Yeah, for sure, because I think there has been a shift from coming up to how we've dealt with being near or at the top. There's been a shift in how we've dealt with things. There have been times when we've been extremely tone deaf in terms of underestimating what's around us, not buying an attacker for the entire. I'm going to get it is part of it, because if you brief that you're going to say these things, and every single brief that was before the window, Ornstein, Fabrizio, all these guys, we are still 12 months later. We did not buy an attacker. We've spent the 60th most amount in the top 5 leagues in attack since 2020. Leeds have spent more in that period of time. You can't promise things and then not deliver. If you're going to promise these things, just say nothing. If you've said nothing, we would have at least said, look, maybe they don't view it as a priority right now. They've moved to Havertz as the striker, and maybe they're trying to reassess what they're going to do in January and next year. That's absolutely fine. But they didn't. They briefed this whole madness, whatever you want to call it. X factor was the word used. And it just felt like Arsenal of old. It felt like we were just like the madness stuff. It felt like we were just being told one thing and then not delivering. And then just the whole
We were
match
lied
day,
to.
yeah, not even lied to, just miss. I don't think they understood the severity of what not buying an attacker would do to this team. And when you don't buy an attacker, it shows a lack of duty of care to the players, to the fans, and to the coach. And that's where the issue lies. And specifically in terms of relationship with the fans, the actual experience, you've been to games, the actual match day experience is just not, it's not the same.
They ruined it. They
They-
with the ballot system, so many little things.
like for example, right? If you can't remember to get a ballot in, I understand people saying, look, you should remember to do a ballot. That's absolutely fine. But if you see that there's a game that's not selling out, the night before, the day, or maybe 6 hours before, just release it to all members. That's not a hot take. That's not something they've done it before in games. But yet,
Yeah,
for
like
some
the
reason,
PSV game.
yeah,
What
the
were they?
PSV game is a perfect example, right?
What were they thinking?
I don't know. Like, and to do all this while you increase ticket prices as well, it's just, I don't know. And obviously, legally, we can't talk about the party situation. We're not going to do that. That's for
Yeah,
law and whatever to decide. But
they're gonna
on a
give him a new
footballing
deal.
level,
They're gonna give him a new deal.
on a footballing level, right? The guy, right, has forget all the other stuff. And I don't want to forget. I'm not saying forget all the stuff. I'm saying for the video, forget all the stuff. We all know what happened, what's going on with him. But for the sake of the video, say that that's absolutely nothing happened there. And if you want to believe that nothing happened, that's your prerogative, not a problem. Even if none of that happened, if you comment to me and say, look, this is a guy that got suspended versus Real Madrid for the PSG first leg, when the main problem we had was blocking the middle. That was how we conceded the goal. That's his. That's where he's meant to be. That's where he's backing up the press. And in the second leg, both goals, both, not one, both goals. Where is he headering it to? That made no sense. And then not blocking, not to being able to meet his marker and actually block the shot for the second goal.
Let me ask you a quick question. Would a League Cup or an FA Cup this season at least kept the relationship with the fans higher?
Because the thing is, it's not for me. I don't consider that as I consider that how meeting expectations. But I think in terms of communication and action towards the fan base, that's what I meant by the second point. How they've communicated things to us and how they've treated us in terms of actually going to the stadium and all this stuff. I feel like that has been. I don't feel like it's the same. We both went in 2023. Games were electric. You used to be buzzing going to the stadium. I don't feel that now. And I don't know whether it's because we've been here so long now. This is the third year, and we're sort of just like, come on, you've got to just do it. You've got to just do it. And because the expectations are there and we're not meeting them, maybe it's that, or maybe it's the fact that the ballot is one thing, the actual fan experience inside the stadium is another thing, getting tickets is another thing. Like it feels like we've been told that to expect more, but more hasn't come. And that's why it's not at a place where you can say I'm looking forward to next season. I've already renewed I'm renewing my membership the day renewals come out. That's not an issue. I've always, as much as I like it, like I remember telling you, I was like, I don't know if I can support this club anymore. I just don't, because it just doesn't. And that's what I was saying in that tweet. I said it's a part of me. This club is a part of me, and it's a part of you. It's a part of all of us.
But you know what people say? The moment that you say stuff like that, people are gonna say, "Oh, you're a big fan." They don't. They're just gonna. They're not gonna listen. They're gonna just tune out.
But as you said to me off stream, I'm not trying to. I'm more than happy for you to have a conversation with other people. I'm just giving you what I think. If you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. You want to call me whatever, call me whatever. That's not a problem, because I'll be real with you. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go to sleep. It's not gonna do anything with my day. But my thing is very simple: deliver, deliver, communicate with us better. Understand that we do not want 50 million links to whoever. I understand that's how you're negotiating deals and that's how you're doing the business. The extensions that are happening, there needs to be some sort of communication as to why these are happening. If you're saying to me that Trossard is like the seventh attacker, like Jota or something, where he like he's not one of the main attackers, but he can just sort of fit into a role, absolutely fine. But if you're saying to me that he's a backup left wing,
Why are we giving him a new deal?
we're giving him a new deal because for me, the way I look at it is I think that we want to protect the asset in terms of being able to say, look, he's on this wage. If you want to buy him, like we did with Xhaka, but instead of with Gyökeres, we sold him the same season. I think if we're going to sell him for the next season, or did we see him sell him the next season? Whatever it is, I think it's a very similar situation to Xhaka, where he's like on the verge of he could leave, he might stay, but I just don't think that you can consider him as a vital member of the squad and look to compete for things. And that's not because he's a bad player, but because the fact of the matter is, if you look at Trossard in key situations, the Villa game in 23-24, that chance he's missed. The PSG game lost in the first leg, the chances that he's missed. He's meant to be the clutch shooter, and there's two clear opportunities where he could take control of the game. Donnarumma was diving because he knew where Trossard was going to go. He knew that he was going to go cross, and he was already halfway down, and he went across, and he saved it.
That's studying your opponent. I respect that.
So this is my thing. I just think that if you're going to extend him and have him be a key member of the squad, there has to be a communication of how he's going to change. Like, we have to see it on the pitch. Like, I'm not saying they have to come out like Edu did at the end of the window and like explain what happened. No, but we need it communicated on the pitch. Show how he's going to be used, because right now you need 2 attackers minimum, if not 3, but 2 minimum, and the third maybe like a sort of wing fielder. Like, one can play attacking mid, they can play wing, something like that, like Fabio, like a Fabio replacement if he does go, something like that.
I think Edu leaving is what gives Arteta more time from the board's perspective. I think maybe they would have
and this is the other thing I'll say to you: there's no situation where anything we say will impact the board at all. You have no power at all. Like, I know people think they do. You have no power. If he's backed at 15th, if there's relegation plans made, if he can go 0-3, if he can do all sorts of things, you saw the All or Nothing documentary. It wasn't about the noise outside. As long as he has the faith and backing of KSC, he's not going anywhere. So
no, but I think the Cronkies and Josh Kroenke specifically, I've seen a lot from him in the last season to tell me that Arteta might not have as long as a leash going into next season.
I don't know if that's the case.
Okay.
I genuinely, like, it could be the case. I completely understand the viewpoint. I hope it's not the case, because no, I hope it is the case. Sorry, I hope it is the case, because I feel like there needs to be a bit more support.
Ruthlessness.
There needs to be more support, because I feel like he's been given too much power, and he's been left on his own devices. He needs more support.
Rein it back.
No, it's not about reining it back. It's about giving him the support that he can actually do the things he's meant to do. And I think instead of just like looking at him like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? They need to understand that now Berta's come in, he has to now impact what happens as well.
Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and leave a comment down below what you thought of that video you just watched.